This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, this episode is brought to you by AdamandEve.com. Go to AdamandEve.com, excuse me. Yeah, if you go to AdamandEve.com and type in the promo code SPORT, you'll get 50% off just about any item. And as always, I'm your host, Jesse Tapia. For today's show, we're going to start off with the NBA scores from Wednesday night. We're actually going to talk a little bit about Joel Embiid and his big game against the Lakers. Usually I make these picks on Friday, but since I'll be gone Friday and next week on vacation, we're going to do our Week 11 NFL picks for Sunday. Then we'll preview the Sunday night and Monday night game, and then to finish off the show, we're going to talk some college basketball. Let's see, what else do we got in store for the show? College basketball, some soccer, and then pretty much anything else as usual going on in sports. So it's going to be a fun show. Let's get it started. All right, so with the first game of last night, which one? All right, I'm going to pick Washington versus Miami. Washington went into Miami. Washington won that one 102-93. John Wall had 27 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Bradley Beal had 26 points, 7 rebounds. Markieff Morris had a solid game. He had 15 points. And Otto Porter, he had a very efficient game. 12 points, 13 rebounds. He shot 5 of 8 for the game. Goran Dragic for Miami had 21 points. Dion Waiters had 19 points, 5 assists. And Hassan Whiteside had a 14-point, 21-rebound game. Utah went into New York to face off with the Knicks. The Knicks won that one, 106-101. The Knicks are really impressing me so far this season. They've been really fun to watch. Donovan Mitchell for Utah, he had 19 points. He shot 8 of 17. I'm really excited to see how he ends up, too. He's been started off chucking up shots, not making too many, and he's finally starting to bring it together. So it's going to be really fun to watch him play for the rest of the season and in the future. Rodney Hood had a big game, 30 points, shot 10 of 20 from the field, 6 of 12 from 3. Kristaps Porzingis, 22 points, 8 rebounds. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. And he hit the shot with a few seconds left that pretty much iced the game for the Knicks. So, Tim Hardaway Jr., there was so much. I think he got paid around $75 million. Yeah, 5 years, $75 million, I think, was his contract. And there was a lot of, concern around the Knicks paying him that much. But so far, he's been proving that he's worth it. And I think he is, too. And Courtney Lee. That's quite the name drop right there. Dude's been in the league for a while. I'm not even sure how old he is. He's got to be at least 33, but I'm not sure. He had 19 points and 7 rebounds. Cleveland Cavaliers, are they starting to finally pick it up? It looks like they might be. They beat Charlotte in Charlotte. They won 115-107. Kevin Love had 22 points, 10 rebounds. LeBron James had 31 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. So just a pretty much all-around great game from him as usual. Jeff Green, he had 13 points and 7 rebounds. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist had 22 points, 6 rebounds. Kemba Walker, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. And Nicholas Batum, I think this was his second game back, and he played really well. He had 16 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. Indianapolis, they went into Memphis and won that one, 116-1. Indiana, I don't know why I keep saying Indianapolis. I keep getting them mixed up with the Colts. Indiana went into Memphis and won 116-113. Darren Collison had 30 points, 6 rebounds. He shot 8 of 13, so he shot really well for the game. Victor Oladipo had 21 points, 6 rebounds. Domantas Sabonis, I'm going to call him Sabonis, had 13 points, 6 rebounds. And then Marc Gasol, 35 points, 13 rebounds. And Tyreke Evans, another good game from him, 18 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Detroit went into Milwaukee, and Milwaukee won that one 99-95. Michael Bradley. Avery Bradley had 28 points and 5 assists. Really big game from him. Tobias Harris had a quiet game. He only had 13 points. Andre Drummond had 13 points and 17 rebounds. Giannis Antetokounmpo had a pretty quiet game. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Yeah, think about that. It's true. He did have a quiet game, but look at that stat line. Chris Middleton had 27 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Malcolm Brogdon had 12 points off the bench, and Eric Bledsoe had 14 points 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. Spurs went into Minnesota, and Minnesota actually pulled that one out, 98-86. LaMarcus Aldridge only had 15 points, 10 rebounds. Pau Gasol had 13 points, 8 rebounds. Patty Mills had 13 points. Karl Anthony Towns dominated in this one. He had 26 points, 16 rebounds. He shot 10 of 18 for the game. Jeff Teague had 16 points and 6 assists. And let's see, Andrew Wiggins had 11 points. He only shot 4 of 11. And let me see, Jimmy Butler, he had a pretty poor game too, but Minnesota managed to win it still somehow. Jimmy Butler only had 6 points. He had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, but he only shot 2 of 13 for the game. So this is really the first time Minnesota had a really good, actually won a game, I think, where Jimmy Butler just played extremely poorly. Let's see, next game. Toronto went into New Orleans. Toronto won that one, 125-116. DeMar DeRozan, lights out so far this season. He had 25 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Kyle Lowry had 22 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. Jonas Valanciunas, 21 points, 6 rebounds. DeMarcus Cousins had a pretty good game, 25 points, 9 rebounds. Anthony Davis had 19 points, 5 rebounds. And Drew Holiday had 18 points and 5 assists. For the next game, Chicago went into Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City won that one, 92-79. Lauri Markkanen had 16 points, 6 rebounds. Denzel Valentine had 13 points. Chris Dunn had a really terrible game. He had 3 points. He shot 1 of 11. Russ Westbrook, he had 21 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. Carmelo Anthony had 18 points, 11 rebounds. He only shot 3 of 10 for the game. And Paul George had 13 points, 5 rebounds, and he shot 4 of 15 of the in the game. So it looks like that Oklahoma City, their little shooting woes are still they're still happening. They're still going on. I mean, I don't understand with that team. I mean, I guess we all should have saw it coming, but it's just really disappointing to see how they've been playing so far in the offensive end. I know that they've been winning games. I think they're 7-7 right now. Double check that as I'm talking about them. But yeah, I think they're 7-7, and they just pretty much just they're 7-7. That's confirmed. But they pretty much just haven't put it together yet. So so far this season, I'm not sure if it's really just something where they need to gel, I guess. But I mean, it's been 14 games so far, and you figure that they'd already be playing well together, but it just hasn't worked out so far this season. Sacramento went into Atlanta, and Atlanta blew out Sacramento. Sacramento, they're like they're the Cleveland Browns of the NBA. I know it's a harsh thing to say, but it's true. It's just Sacramento, like, they'll draft good players, or at least it looks like they're. I know I really shouldn't be jumping on Sac this early in the season, but I mean, when you're playing the worst team in the league, or at least arguably the worst team in the league, in the Atlanta Hawks, and you get blown out by by 46 points. There's obviously something wrong. Zach Randolph, he had 16 points. He shot 7 of 11. George Hill had 12 points. He shot 4 of 11. And De'Aaron Fox, he started off really hot. He had, not in this game exactly, but in this game he had 2 points. He shot 1 of 4. But in the season, he started off pretty well. He was exciting a lot of Kings fans, excited me, and pretty much a lot of people around the NBA. But it looks like he's that development that he was showing, and he was just getting better game after game. But it looks like he's starting to... is the right word digress? I'm not sure, but yeah, it looks like his play is starting to go down a little bit, and I'm not really sure what it is, if he's losing confidence or it's just not falling for him. But I think he only played 13 minutes last night against Atlanta, so he really needs to pick it up, or Dave Yeager needs to figure out something in order to put him in the best position to succeed. Dennis Schroeder for Atlanta, he had 21 points, 8 assists. He shot 8 of 12. Dedmon had 20 points, 14 rebounds, 9 of 10 shooting. Shout out to him. He really helped out my fantasy team Wednesday night. John Collins, he had, I believe that's Atlanta's rookie too. He had 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 of 9. And then for the game of the night, Philadelphia went into LA, faced off with the Lakers. Philly won that one 115-109. Let's get into some stats, and then I'm going to talk about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons a little bit. Joel Embiid had 46 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists, and he shot 14 of 20 in the game. Ben Simmons had 18 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. He shot 8 of 13. Robert Covington, the new paid man, I think he got a 4-year, $46 million deal, or he's in the process of getting that. That's what Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted out Wednesday. So it's looking like he's going to get that deal. He had 12 points, 6 rebounds. Like I said, he shot 5 of 9. Lonzo Ball for the Lakers, it's another player who, I mean, it was no secret that Lonzo couldn't shoot so far this season. I mean, his shot is broke. That's what it is. His shot is broke. Can't shoot to save his life. But it looks like his confidence is completely shot, so it looks like that's affecting the rest of his game. Because, I mean, yeah, he wasn't scoring points in the beginning of this at all so far this season, but he was getting a lot of assists. I think he's averaging around 7 assists and around like 6 or 5 rebounds. So he was contributing that way. But now, since his confidence is so shot, I mean, he's sitting in the fourth quarter, and that's one thing I don't agree with. Before I get into, actually, you know what? Let me do the stats, and then I'll talk about players from this game and just what I think of them. Brandon Ingram, he had 26 points, 11 rebounds. He shot 11 of 18. He's been having a really good year. Maybe whatever it is that KD told him. I mean, it's sticking to him, and he's finally, not finally, he was only a rookie last year, but he's just a big improvement from last season. Kyle Kuzma had another big game, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 9 of 18 shooting, and Jordan Clarkson off the bench has been money for the Lakers. He had 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, but like I said, Philly won that one 115 to 109. Before I get into Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, let's talk about Lonzo Ball. So like I was saying a few seconds ago, that yeah, it's no secret that he has a weird his mechanics for his jump shot are pretty much, I don't even know what to call them. It's just one of the odder jump shots I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's been working for him, so I mean, you can't really knock him for it, but so far in the NBA, it's kind of looking like it's been limiting him, but it's also his confidence that's been holding him back too. Like I said, right now, his confidence is it's just shot. He has no confidence whatsoever. He can't shoot the ball. He can't really score on the inside driving in. And like I said, his assist numbers and his rebound numbers are starting to go down a little bit. He was 1 of 9 in the game and 0 of 6 from 3. So, and plus he sat the fourth quarter. And I don't think Luke Walton is doing him any favors sitting him in the fourth. The guy's a rookie, okay? We all know you drafted him to build your franchise around. And they used their second round pick or the second pick overall on him, or the second overall pick in the first round on him. Just got to be clear, but that's obviously a guy that you think, yeah, this is going to be the guy that we're going to build our franchise around. It's going to be our franchise point guard going forward. Magic Johnson said he had big ideas for him, said he expects his jersey to be up in the rafters one day. So, I mean, a lot of pressure has been put on him, but you know what? There was pressure on Ben Simmons last year. If you remember him coming out, people were comparing him to LeBron as a prospect, not as a complete player, but just as a prospect coming out. Probably one of the best players coming into the draft last season, and I know he got hurt last year, but so far this season, Ben Simmons has done well. We're going to talk about him and Embiid in a few moments, but yeah, like I said, maybe the pressure is getting to Lonzo, and just I think honestly it's just really a mental thing with him right now. I think that he does have the tools to be a really good player, or at least a type of player like a Rajon Rondo type of player, at least someone who doesn't have a good jump shot, but he's going to make the team around him better. He's going to get boards, he's going to get assists. But like I said, his confidence is just, and that's one thing you never saw with Rondo too. Like, you knew he couldn't shoot the ball, and defenders would pretty much just back up into the paint when they were guarding him, because like I said, like his jump shot was broke too. But he still did ways, and he did things to make him still one of the better point guards in the league. Because I remember when he was at the Celtics in 2008, through his time towards his the end of his time in Boston, he was considered one of the better point guards in the league, probably one of the best, along with Derrick Rose. And like I said, Rondo couldn't shoot the ball, so maybe Lonzo Ball needs to look at that and see how, you know what, yeah, I can't shoot the ball, but let me help the team as far as assists and rebounding and everything else goes. Let me play defense and all that. But like I said, his confidence is shot right now, and it's not looking good for him, especially with Luke Walton sitting him in the fourth. Just throw him out there. It doesn't really matter. They're not making the playoffs. I promise you that. So, but for this little time we have left, let's talk about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Like I said, Joel Embiid had 46 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. This guy is doing stuff that centers aren't supposed to be doing, okay? There was a play where he's driving in from the baseline, and Brook Lopez, I think it was, comes out to draw a charge, and Joel Embiid does a Euro step around Lopez and pretty much just lays it in. And that's stuff you see from players like LeBron, or even like guards or point guards or anything like that, just from athletic people. And Joel Embiid's a 7-foot center, probably a little bit taller, because we all know the NBA lies about height. But yeah, Joel Embiid is pretty much, he's the most athletic center in the league. I'm going to say that right now. He can do whatever he wants. He can shoot the three. He can shoot mid-range. He could drive in. He could dunk. He could get rebounds. He could play defense. He could get assists. As you see, he had 7 assists yesterday. One of the best centers in the league. I'm just going to call it now. I know he really hasn't. We was like a small sample size. He only played 30 games the last season, and this season we're only 14 games in. But Joel Embiid is definitely, when he's healthy and he's out there, he's one of the best centers in the league. And I think it was after the game yesterday. I can't remember exactly. Maybe maybe a couple of games ago, but he said he's only at 69%. Remember, Philly still isn't letting him play in back-to-back. So, I mean, if Joel Embiid, I know players like to say this to hype themselves up a little bit, but if Joel Embiid really is at 69%, imagine what he's going to be at 100%. He could go down as probably one of the better centers in all of history if he continues playing how he is. I know it's early, so I'm just saying if he continues playing how he is, and he starts playing back-to-backs, then his production is going to go up. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And Joel Embiid had such a good game that everyone forgot about Ben Simmons yesterday. Like I said, Ben Simmons, 18 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. The guy is literally putting up these numbers regularly. He's averaging near a triple-double, and he has no jump shot. Philly is going to be set going forward because they have two franchise players that they can build around, and Simmons and Embiid. And like I said, I know it's early, but it's the truth. These are going to be star players going forward. Simmons, if he develops a jump shot, could win a couple MVPs, and same with Embiid. There's really nothing to knock them about right now. They're playing really well, and hopefully when Markelle Fultz comes back and his shoulder's all healed up, he could play well too, because the East, it's going to be between the Sixers and the Celtics going forward. Right now, the Celtics, I believe, are like the 5th youngest team in the league, and the Sixers, I think they're one of the 2nd or 3rd youngest teams in the league. Right now, the Celtics are already a young team trying to compete for a championship, and the Sixers are still in rebuild mode, but next year or the year after that, they're going to be near the top, so it's going to be really interesting to see. The Atlantic Division might be the best in all of basketball in the next few years, because then you got the Knicks who are playing well, you got the Raptors I think the Raptors are in the Atlantic Division, I'm pretty sure they are, and you got those 4 teams right there, Philly, Celtics, Knicks, and the Raptors. Boom, that's one of the best divisions in the next few years, and those teams are going to be near the top going forward. So it's going to be really fun to see how these teams develop going forward, especially with how young they are. But that's all I got to say about that. Next up, we're going to do my Week 11 NFL picks. I need to start keeping track of these too, especially for the NBA, so that way you guys start holding me accountable and start yelling at me if I get things wrong. But so yeah, we're going to take a little break right now, and we'll be right back. Thanks for listening. Hey, are you looking to spice things up in the bedroom? Have you been fantasizing about surprising your lover with an adventurous new toy or adult movie? Well, AdamandEve.com has an offer you're not going to be able to resist. If you go to AdamandEve.com, and for a limited time only, you'll get 50% off just about any item. But that's not all they're offering. Oh no. When you select your one item at 50% off, you're also going to receive 3 free adult DVDs, just in case you need that little inspiration. Plus a free extra gift so sensual, I can't even mention it on this podcast. And to top it all off, they're even willing to throw in free shipping on your entire order. And trust me, they're not kidding about any of this. That free shipping, we all love that free shipping. So check out AdamandEve.com today for the special offer. You'll get 50% off one item when you type in SPORT for the offer code upon checkout. When you do that, you'll get 3 free DVDs, a free extra gift, and that free shipping. Just use the offer code SPORT, that's SPORT at AdamandEve.com. Again, that's SPORT, SPORT at AdamandEve.com. Welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. If you missed that last segment, we talked some NBA. I said good things about Joel Embiid. Said some good things about Ben Simmons. I didn't say bad things about Lonzo Ball. I did say that his jump shot is messed up and his confidence is shot. But that's pretty much just facts right there. But I did say that, Luke Walton does need to start throwing him out there in the 4th quarter instead of benching him so he could build up his confidence. But we'll see how that all plays out. And I don't know if you guys noticed when I say the GSMC Sports Podcast, it's just to elevate the podcast a little bit more. You know how they do the Ohio State, the University of Miami, is it Miami University of Miami? I don't know. But when you say the instead of the obviously sounds better, so I'm trying to elevate us up a little bit, But anyways, for this segment, we're going to do some Week 11 picks, going to talk a little bit about each game, and might do some NFL news in this segment or the next one, because we will be talking football in the next one, talking about previewing the Sunday night and Monday night games, since, again, I won't be here on Friday or next week. I'm going to miss you guys, but Jesse's got to go on vacation. But like I said, let's just start off with the picks and then see how it all flows. All right. So first game, LA Rams. Or actually, you know what? Let's do I know I did a preview yesterday for the Thursday night game, but I'll just give a quick pick about it right now. So Tennessee is going to be heading into Pittsburgh tonight, which is Thursday. And I got Pittsburgh in that game in a blowout. Okay, Tennessee's not a bad team, but road teams on Thursday nights just don't seem to do well unless the team that they're playing at home, unless the home team is just a really bad team. You saw that yesterday with Seattle going up against Arizona. So, yeah, I got the Steelers at home in a blowout against Tennessee. All right, now for the Sunday games. Probably going to be the game of the week. It's going to be the LA Rams heading into Minnesota to face off with the Vikings. This one's a tough one to pick, okay? You got Jared Goff, who's been lights out so far this season. I think he's, let me double check how many yards he's throwing for so far this season. He's been playing really well. He's got 2,385 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Just a complete 180 from last year, too. I think it's, he's averaging 270 yards per game. The Rams offense is number 1 right now with 32.9 points per game. Ooh, excuse me. But then rushing the ball, they're also averaging 128 yards a game. So it's pretty much the greatest show on turf, part 2. I know most people, for some reason, people don't like when you say similar things about teams. But yeah, it's like the greatest show on turf, part 2. And then you got Minnesota, who's averaging 24 points per game. LA's averaging 398 total yards, and Minnesota's averaging 373 total yards on offense. Right now, they're averaging 255 yards per game passing the ball, and then 118 yards rushing the ball. So Minnesota's offense, I mean, a lot of the credit goes to their defense, but the offense so far has been playing really well. Case Keenum, this guy's came out of nowhere. I think he was with the Rams last year, was he, or the year before? I can't remember exactly, but I think he was with the Rams soon. So you know what? This is a Case Keenum revenge game. We got a revenge game, boys and girls. So you know what? I might have to pick Arizona for this one. Last week we had a Ryan Fitzpatrick revenge game against the Jets. That one was a bad game. That one was 15-10. Tampa Bay won that one. But I think this revenge game is going to be a lot better. I'm pretty sure Case Keenum played for the Rams. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I'm almost positive he did. So. But nonetheless, like I said, he's got 1,914 yards passing so far this season, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Adam Thielen's looking like a man possessed. He's got 56 receptions, 793 yards, only 2 touchdowns, but he's doing a job out there. So let's see. Who is my pick for this game? It's pretty much like a toss-up for this one. I'm going to go... Last week I picked Washington over Minnesota, so you know I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to pick Minnesota over the Rams this week. Please, Minnesota, don't let me down. I'm trying to do nice things. But, so I got Minnesota this week against the LA Rams. And then next up, we got Tampa Bay versus the Miami Dolphins. This game was supposed to take place week 1, but we all know the hurricane hit Florida, and that caused them to take their byes in week 1. So now here we go. We got this game when their bye should have been. But like I said, last week I got really excited for the Jets and Tampa Bay game. Thought it was going to be a good one. Thought the Jets were going to step up, play well, throw all over that defense. But you got to forget, when a bad team plays the bad team, like I said, boys and girls, it's simple math. Bad team plus another bad team equals a bad game. So I think this one's not going to be too great of a game either, but I think Miami's going to be able to pull it out. I think the defense is going to step up after that little debacle they had Monday night against Carolina. Defense is going to be able to shut down Ryan Fitzpatrick. Mike Evans should be back. Mike Evans is going to be back for this game, I believe. And they're going to have to worry about Deshaun Jackson, too, that Miami defense. And for some reason, I think Tampa Bay's defense is just bad enough to where Jake Cutler's going to have a good game. And I think Kenyon Drake's going to have another solid game. He's been playing well since J.J. was traded. Damian Williams should step up a little bit. And then we're going to see which receiver steps up for Miami this week. Last couple of weeks, it's been Devontae Parker. I mean, Jarvis Landry's I think he's had games with back-to-back touchdowns, but we're just going to see how it all ends up for them. Yeah, but I got Miami in this one, and for some reason, I think Jay Cutler's going to have a decent game. I mean, there's really no reason to expect that, but when he plays a bad defense like Oakland's, he had a good game, and this is another terrible defense, probably the worst defense in the league, so Jay Cutler's probably going to have another good game. Detroit, they're going to be heading to Chicago. I got Detroit in this one. Let's see. Why do I like Detroit? I like Detroit because John Fox likes to limit Mitchell Trubisky. So it's going to be pretty much Jim Caldwell versus John Fox. And I'm picking John Caldwell in that one every time. Plus, Detroit all around has a better team than Chicago. Chicago does compete, but like I said, Detroit just has the better team. Matt Stafford's a man on a mission right now, trying to bring his team into the wild card at least. If they win this one, Minnesota loses this week too, then I think it's Detroit versus Minnesota next week, and that could be for the lead in the division. So I got Detroit in this one. They really need this game. Baltimore versus Green Bay in Green Bay. This one is a tough one to pick. Green Bay in Green Bay is always a decent team. I know Brett Hundley's a quarterback. I say Brett just in case you guys are thinking, why does he keep saying Brent? I'm saying Brett. like Bret Hart, But Green Bay is really not a team I'm gonna pick. This one's tough, dude, because Baltimore's offense isn't that good, and Green Bay's throwing Brett Hundley out there against. So you know what? Let's see. Close my eyes. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. Let's go Baltimore in this one. They're gonna pick up the road win. I think that they're going to shut down Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson. I mean, Brett Hundley has done well to shut down Jordy Nelson as it is. Sorry, Jordy Nelson fantasy owners, but it's just the truth. So, yeah, I'm going to go Baltimore in that one. Not confident in that pick, but you know what? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo rules. So, yeah, going Baltimore. Then you got Jacksonville versus Cleveland. I believe it was Tashawn Gibson, who just, I think he left Cleveland after last year. Now he's with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He put up some bulletin board material for Cleveland. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I know it was aimed more towards the front office. That's what he was saying. But this might give Cleveland, this is in Cleveland too, so you know what? This bulletin board material might be enough to get Cleveland over and help them get a win. But you know what? Doesn't really work that way. Jacksonville's defense is going to shut down Cleveland. Kaiser's going to have a hard time. I think Corey Coleman's going to play this game too. And I'm picking Jacksonville's defense versus Cleveland's offense. I think that's what the game's going to come down to. Cleveland's defense is pretty good too, but I think Jacksonville's just going to do enough to score enough points to where their defense can win them the game like it's usually been so far this season. So yeah, I got Jacksonville in that one. And then Arizona versus Houston. This is another tough one. You got a bad team going up against another bad team. Once again, what does that equal? That equals a bad game. So I'm gonna go with the this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with Houston in this one. I don't even feel good making that pick. I wouldn't feel good making an Arizona pick either. So I'm just gonna go with the home team. I got Houston. DeAndre Hopkins has been playing well, even with Tom Savage out there. Lamar Miller's been so-so. Defenses are starting to game plan for him a lot more now that they don't have to worry about Deshaun Watson. Oh, that injury still kills me, man. I wish he was out there. He played really well. Would have been easy Rookie of the Year pick, but, just injuries suck. But, yeah, I'm going to go Houston. Not going to be a good game. If you got the NFL Sunday ticket, watch something else. Throw on the Rams-Minnesota Vikings game. Throw on the Detroit-Chicago game. Detroit-Chicago, that's going to be a fun one to watch. If you got the Sunday ticket, watch that one. But, I'm going to go Houston again. Houston up. I'm going to pick them against Arizona this week. And you got Washington versus New Orleans. I'm going New Orleans easy in this one. They're at home. They're a run-the-ball football team. They play defense. That's pretty much my favorite type of team right there. A team that runs the ball and plays good defense. I like the passing. I like the flashiness, but you know what? I'm a defensive guy. I'm a run the football guy. Smash mouth football. That's what I like. Okay, so I'm going to go New Orleans in this one. Kirk Cousins is going to have a good game, but it's not going to be enough. And it's pretty much, New Orleans is all-around better team on paper and on the field too. So I'm going New Orleans in this one. Then Kansas City versus the New York Giants. Kansas City is doing that thing to where Alex Smith turns into a game manager. Andy Reid is over-managing. But either way, I still like them against the Giants. The Giants are... If the Browns had to win, the Giants would be the worst team in the league. But since the Browns are the Browns and they don't have any wins so far this season, I'm going to go Kansas City in this one. Back to that point, though. Yeah, so since the Browns don't have a win, I'm getting ahead of myself right there. I got to watch it. But, since the Browns don't have a win, the Giants get to be the second worst team in the league. And I think that's going to be good enough to help the Kansas City Chiefs win in New York. Then you got the Buffalo Bills, the scratch my head Buffalo Bills. That's what I'm going to call them since they pretty much just make questionable moves all the time. They're hitting into LA to face off with the Chargers. I like the Chargers in this one. Buffalo, you really hurt me by benching Tyrod Taylor and bringing out Peterman. I literally deal with this on every show. I don't know which one it is. I'm going to have to ask Siri, or I'm going to have to watch the Bills game this Sunday and listen to the commentators and see what they say. So, yeah, Nathan Peterman / Petterman is going to be the quarterback for this game. And I don't trust rookie quarterbacks in their first game. So, I'm going to go with the Chargers. Phillip Rivers, he's a veteran quarterback. Melvin Gordon, he's a good running back, one of the best in the league. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers this week. And Buffalo's going to drop to 5-5, I think. Then, this game's going to be brutal. Cincinnati versus Denver. Cincinnati is the most boring team in the league, I think, so far this season. and they can be debated, but I'm going to pick them against Denver mainly. No, I'm going to go Denver, actually. Yeah, I'm going Denver. Brock Osweiler, he's going to lead the Denver Broncos to a win. Plus, I think that defense is finally going to step up. But, yeah, I got Denver versus Cincinnati. Then, fun game right here, New England versus Oakland. I'm going Oakland in this one. Oakland just beat Miami Sunday night 2 weeks ago. They're coming off a bye. They probably figured out some things. Hopefully, Amari Cooper got a new set of hands so he can start catching the ball. Michael Crabtree's been playing well. I know that defense has been brutal so far this season, but it's going to be a shootout. I got Oakland in this one. Literally no reason why you should pick against New England, but I'm just going with my heart in this one. Plus, I just got a gut feeling it's going to be Oakland coming out. Plus, they're at home. Then for Sunday Night Football, I'm going to make my pick. Not going to talk too much about it since I'm going to preview this one in the Monday Night Football in the next segment. But it's going to be Philly versus Dallas. Let's just say I got Philly. I'm going to tell you why I got Philly. I'm sure you guys already know why I got Philly. But, yeah, I got them. And then Atlanta versus Seattle. Seattle's going to be at home. And you know what we do when Seattle plays at home? We pick Seattle. So I got Seattle. So just to round it out again, I got the Vikings versus the Vikings versus the Rams. Miami versus Tampa Bay. Detroit versus Chicago. Baltimore versus Green Bay, Jacksonville versus Cleveland. I got them, Jacksonville. I got Houston versus Arizona. Then I got New Orleans versus Washington. I got Kansas City up against New York, the Giants, that is. Then I got the Chargers winning against Buffalo. I got the Denver Broncos winning against Cincinnati. Got the Raiders beating New England, Philly beating Dallas, and then to round it out once again, I got Seattle beating Atlanta, and we'll talk about that Sunday night and Monday night game in the next segment. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. If you couldn't tell, that was my little Matthew McConaughey impression. I'm not sure if I did good with that. Wanted to try something out, but you gotta have a little fun on the podcast. But yeah. So in the last thing, I gave my Week 11 picks. Man, I might get some heat from the family for that one. But yeah, in that last segment, I made my Week 11 picks. If you want to go back and listen to those, go ahead. I talked a little about each game, but for this segment, we're going to talk Sunday Night Football, which is going to be Philadelphia versus, sorry, I get a kick out of myself sometimes, But yeah, Sunday night, it's going to be Philly versus Dallas. That's always a fun one to watch. And then Monday night, it's going to be Atlanta versus Seattle. So, man, but, all right, yeah, so let's talk about Philly versus Dallas. It's going to be Carson Wentz versus Dak Prescott. This is pretty much every Eagles fan and Cowboys fan favorite debate. No, my quarterback is better than yours. No, my quarterback is better than yours. And this is literally a back and forth type of thing, too. I'm going to settle the debate right now. I mean, you can take my opinion with a grain of salt. I think Carson Wentz is the better quarterback. But I also think that Dak Prescott is also a good quarterback. Not a better quarterback, but a good quarterback. Carson Wentz, probably one of the... Oof. Gotta be careful when I say this, but let me choose my words closer and wisely right here. Carson Wentz this season is playing like a top 5 quarterback. His play so far this season shows that he has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback, and as far as every other quarterback goes, his play this season is like puts him in the top 5 again for this season. Not saying all around overall career Carson Wentz is a top 5 quarterback or anything like that. Just had to make myself clear. And Dak Prescott, he's a top 10 quarterback too. They're both top 10 quarterbacks for sure. That's not up for debate. If you think it is, it's not. Sorry, but I mean, you're welcome to have your opinion. Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz, both really good quarterbacks. Like I said, Carson Wentz is playing like a top 5 quarterback this season. And like I said in the last segment, but I'm going to say it again. In this game, I got Philly against Dallas. I got Philly winning. They're going to be the road team, obviously. But this is going to be a game where I think Philly had their bye last week, too. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had their bye. So good time for Jay Ajayi to learn the playbook. And guy's going to have a monster game, I feel, against Dallas. I'm really excited to see how he plays. I know it didn't work out in Miami. Him and Adam Gase did have their problems, but we're going to see how it all ends up here in Philly. I think he's going to play really well. Shouldn't have anything to worry about. And he's probably going to go for around 100 yards at least and probably a touchdown. I would not, that's probably the minimum I'm expecting from Jay Ajayi in this game. Dude's a monster. We all know he could run the football. Still don't know exactly why the Dolphins traded him, but they did. And he makes Philly's offense even better. And you're probably going to see Carson Wentz play even better than how he has so far too with Jay Ajayi back there, because now team's got a game plan for one of the best running backs in the league. So we're going to see how it goes for Philly. But like I said, Carson Wentz, I think Alshon Jeffrey is going to have a good game. Wentz is probably going to throw for around 300 yards, probably going to have at least 2 touchdowns. And these Sunday night games are fun. I'm talking about like specifically about this Philadelphia Eagles versus Dallas Cowboys Sunday night games, because it's just, everyone's going to be watching. Everyone's going to be tuning in. Okay, we're going to see what Dallas can do without Ezekiel Elliott since they lost against Atlanta last week. They didn't look too good. They lost 27-7. This week, we're going to see if Dak Prescott learned some things, see what he picked up, if he learned from his mistakes last week, and we're going to see if he can elevate his play even more a little bit with Zeke out. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to. I don't trust Dallas' defense against this Philly offense at all. It's not trying to take anything away from Dallas' defense, but Philadelphia's offense is just that good so far this season. But once again, I got Philly. Let's see, is there anything else to go over in that game? I think Dez Bryant's going to have a good game. He's not going against a top cornerback, so I'm not trying to take shots at Dez Bryant or anything like that, but it's the truth. If Dez Bryant's going up against a top cornerback, or there's just a top cornerback on the field, Dez Bryant's going to shrink. It's just how it's been so far this in his career. Again, I'm not trying to take shots at him. I still think he's a really good receiver, but it's just how it is. Not really sure if the Cowboys can rely on Jason Witten at all. I mean, he's out there. The old guy's out there doing his job, playing well so far this season. You got Cole Beasley out there on the offense, and Terrence Williams has his days. So we're going to see how the running backs play, too, after this week. Last week, Alfred Morris had 11 carries for 53 yards. I think Rod Smith had 3 carries. I think he had 14 yards. Can't remember exactly, but if that is the exact number, then I've got one of the best memories in the world. And Darren McFadden, he had 1 big old carry for -2 whole yards. So we're going to see how Alfred Morris and Rod Smith can do. Hopefully they can pick it up. I mean, the run game needs to get going in order for the Cowboys to have a chance to even win this game. Let's see, what I need to say. I need to say it clearly, too, right here. I'm not saying that Alfred Morris needs to go for over 100 yards or anything like that, but if he were to hit like 70 yards at least, or 80 yards, because I know he's not going to get the ball too much, probably around 15 times Sunday night. So if he were to get around 70, 80 yards right there, I mean, that's going to be enough to where Dak Prescott has some leeway to work with. I don't know if that's the right use of the word. I'm a journalist major, so I should know this, but, words are tough. But, if Alfred Morris is able to get going just way better than how he was last week, then that's going to give Dak Prescott a better chance to succeed. So we'll see how it goes. But, like I said, I got Philadelphia winning against Dallas. And then this Monday night game, Atlanta heading to Seattle. Got Seattle in this one, and this one's actually kind of interesting. You think that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones wouldn't have that good of a game against Seattle's defense, but, I mean, you could already pretty much say that about their offensive game pretty much every week because of Steve Sarkisian. I'm going to continue to beat that. Steve Sarkisian is the reason why the Falcons' offense is underperforming, Drum, because it's true. Last year they had Kyle Shanahan. Offense looked like one of the best of all time. This year they're looking like an average offense. Okay, you got Julio Jones on the field, and then I know Devontae Freeman's going to be out for the game with a concussion. But even before that, I mean, he wasn't just being utilized enough. Then you got Tevin Coleman. He's not being utilized enough. Matt Ryan really has nothing to work with because of the plays that are being called. And then Muhammad Sanu and Austin Hooper are no pushovers, so those are really good players there. So the offense really should be playing way better than how they've been so far this season. But getting back to my original point, I know I rambled off for a couple of minutes right there, but getting back to my original point, Atlanta's offense could, or at least Julio Jones and Matt Ryan specifically, those two could have a good game because, like I said, Richard Sherman, he's going to be out for the rest of the season since he blew out his Achilles, and Seattle just brought back Byron Maxwell. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing. He should know the system, the defensive system already, but I mean, throwing him up against Julio Jones just simply wouldn't be fair. Jeremy Lane's going to be starting too. He was the player who was supposed to be traded to Houston in that Dwayne Brown deal, but he failed his physical, so yeah, he's going to get a chance to start this game. So we're gonna see how Matt Ryan and Julio Jones do with Richard Sherman not out there. I know you still got Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas out there. I'm pretty sure Earl Thomas is out there. You can't really tell with that guy because he's always injured. So I'm not really sure when he's injured, when he's not injured. But I'm just gonna act like he's gonna be out there. Same with Cam Chancellor's gonna be out there. So you're gonna see either if Byron Maxwell plays and he's on Julio, which I doubt he'll be. I think they're gonna have Jeremy Lane on him. Or actually, Seattle doesn't even play that way. I forgot that they play with the corners stay on the same side. So I mean, whatever side Julio plays on, you're gonna see whatever corner that's playing man up on him is going to be helping him out. So we'll see how Atlanta does. Right now, Seattle's offense has been playing well. Russell Wilson's putting it all together. Jimmy Graham's looking like the old Jimmy Graham that used to play for the New Orleans Saints. The run game is still pretty terrible. You got McKissick, who had a decent game last week. Didn't have over 50 yards or anything like that rushing the ball, but he had 5 carries for... Actually, I can't remember exactly. Let me talk about Seattle's offense while I pull up those stats. But, yeah, Thomas Rawls isn't the guy. It's just true. Eddie Lacy is done. And Procise, I think, is on IR now. So we're going to see. Yeah, Thomas Rawls had 10 carries for 27 yards last week. And McKissick had 5 carries for 26 yards. So he pretty much had the same amount of production that Rawls had in half the time. And he also had 4 catches for 20 yards, too. So Actually, I'll talk about that in the fantasy football show. But, yeah, I think he's going to have a pretty solid game. Doug Baldwin's been balling out so far this season. He's been playing well. I expect him to have around 100 yards and a touchdown. Paul Richardson's always due for one big catch. Last week he had 1 catch for 43 yards. So if he has 2 catches this week, it's going to be 80 yards right there. Or 86 if you guys want me to be specific. But, yeah, so we're going to see how it all goes. Like I said, I'm picking Seattle against Atlanta. I don't trust Atlanta at all. They pretty much just been playing they're like a good average team, if that makes any sense. Like, they're not going to wow you so far this season with their offense. The defense plays well, but they're like let me see what their record is. But like I said, they're like a good average team, if that makes sense. Like they're good enough for the wild card, but they're not going to be able to compete with teams like Philadelphia, the Rams, the Vikings, or did I say the Saints? And the Saints. Not even with a team like Carolina, I don't think. I think Carolina is miles ahead of Atlanta so far this season. But yeah, right now Atlanta's 5-4. They're right behind Seattle for that 6th spot in the wild card, and then Detroit's also 5-4. Green Bay's 5-4. Dallas is 5-4, and Washington's 4-5. So Atlanta really needs to win this game, or else they're going to be in trouble. You really don't want to drop to 5-5, obviously. But we'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, I like Seattle in this one. I don't think it's going to be that close of a game. I mean, I think Seattle's going to win by at least 10 points. I don't know if people do consider that a close game. I mean, that's barely like a 2-score game right there. But, yeah, like I said, we'll see. But I got Seattle in that one, and I got Philly Monday night. Let's see if we got any news and notes in the NFL to finish out this segment. All right. So the whole Jerry Jones and owner deal and Roger Goodell type of deal thing, majig, that's going on. The owner sent Jerry Jones a letter saying that his conduct is... in a letter, the owner said, I don't think it was sent to him. The owner said that Jerry Jones his conduct is detrimental to the NFL. So then you saw that I'm drawing a blank right here, but you saw that, or you should have seen, I've talked about in the last couple of podcasts, and if you haven't though, you've seen that the owners are thinking, it was reported by Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio, it was reported by him that the owners were thinking about going through with a procedure where they can invoke a clause to where they can take the Cowboys away from Jerry Jones. Not sure if they're going to do that, but this letter does put some legitimacy to that little procedure clause thing. We're going to see how it all plays out. This NFL season has been so weird so far. Like, it's just been like injuries and then this whole Jerry Jones ordeal. That's a nice little word that I used right there. How about vocabulary? But my vocabulary. But yeah, so this has been a whole weird situation that's been going on. I'm don't think it's going to end with Jerry Jones losing the Cowboys, but this letter might push him back a little bit. But Jerry Jones could be thinking, I'm just going to call their bluff, and I'm going to continue being Jerry Jones and just doing my thing. But we're going to see how it all plays out. So, yeah, like I said, we'll see how everything plays out. Once again, to repeat myself, I got Philadelphia beating Dallas on Sunday night, and I got Seattle beating Atlanta on Monday night. So that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking a little bit of college basketball, talk some English Premier League for Saturday. Got the North London Derby going up. That's going to be a really big game. Going to get a lot of ratings right there. And then, like usual, talk about anything going on in sports. We're probably going to talk about that good big old Celtics and Warriors game. Warriors are going to be heading into Boston. Boston's going to be putting their 13-game win streak on the line, and the Warriors are going to be putting their 7-game win streak on the line. So it's going to be a really fun game to watch. So stay tuned, and this is the GSMC Sports Podcast. We'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Segment of the show, always my favorite segment to do, but before we even get into that, let's talk about the last one. I previewed the Monday night, let me be proper, I previewed the Sunday night and then the Monday night game, got to do it in order, and then talked a little bit about the owners and Jerry Jones situation. If you missed the last segment or need a quick reminder, as I like to say, I picked the Philadelphia, not the 76ers, it's a good team to watch though. If you're a Philly fan, you must be a pretty happy fan. You got the Sixers who are playing well. Process is going good. Good thing you guys trusted that. And then you get the Philadelphia Eagles who are playing well. I'm not sure how the Philadelphia Flyers are doing. I know hockey doesn't get exactly too much love on here. And the Phillies they're rebuilding. They're a young team right now. I know that they're trying to get Giancarlo Stanton. That's probably a pipe dream right there. But yeah, it's probably good to be a Philly fan right now. And then let's see. I picked Seattle against Atlanta. Probably good to be a Seattle fan too. I know you guys don't got the Sonics anymore, but you guys got the Seahawks, and then you guys got the Mariners who were playing pretty good, who were playing good this past season, I think. I don't even remember their record, but you got Felix Hernandez going for them. But yeah, Seattle should be pretty happy. They got the Sounders who had an okay season. I think they lost in the MLS playoffs. But yeah, let's just get it on with this last segment. Let's do some college basketball. UCLA, 23rd ranked team in the nation, going up against Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas, not a team that should give UCLA any trouble. You know what they did? They gave UCLA trouble. UCLA won that one 106-101, and they barely won an OT. Imagine if they would have lost this game. Just imagine the whole media storm type of media stories that would have came out with LiAngelo Ball and those two other NBA college basketball players for UCLA that got arrested for shoplifting in China. I don't know the other two players' names. I only know LiAngelo's because of LeVar Ball. Just pretty much everywhere you go, the guy's out there and he's saying one of his kids' names. So got it burned into my name. The middle child, LiAngelo Ball. That's his name. But I just imagine if with that happening in China. And, of course, they came back, and now they're going to be suspended indefinitely by the team. But I just imagine if that happens, and then, boom, UCLA loses to Central Arkansas. Oh, I would not want to deal with that whole little media storm right there if I'm UCLA. It just would have been brutal to deal with. Let's do some stats. Let's see who their best player was. Best player. Got it up right here. Aaron Holiday. He had 24 points. He had 6 rebounds, 5 assists also. He shot 5 of 15, so he's all right. And then from 3, he shot 4 of 9. So 4 of his 5 shots that he made were from the 3-point line. Thanks a lot, Golden State Warriors. Thanks a lot. Now, because of you guys, we got everyone taking threes. Literally, every time I look at someone's stats, they'll take 6 shots, and they'll take, let's say they take 12 shots, they'll make 6 of them. You know what? 5 of those shots that they made are threes. No one wants to do mid-range anymore, okay? DeMar DeRozan, that's the last of a dying breed right there, okay? Bring back the mid-range. We want the mid-range back. We need it, okay? We need the old basketball. No, I'm just kidding, though. I don't really mind the whole three-point ball type of thing. I mean, I know most people don't like it, but with everything, I mean, you pretty much just gotta, it's just progression. Everything's gonna change. Nothing can stay the same. Eventually, I think that this whole taking threes type of deal is gonna end. But you know what? All these players are starting to get way more athletic. That's another thing I want to say too. I mean, I've never really talked about it, but generation before me, it's time to get over it. These players now are way more athletic than the players that you saw. It's true. Okay, I'm still going to say Michael Jordan was the best player who ever played, but LeBron is the second best player who ever played, and he's probably more... LeBron James, I'm going to say LeBron James is more athletic than Michael Jordan. You could call me you could call me a millennial who doesn't know anything, but you know what? We got YouTube, and we got NBA TV, and they show highlights of the old games, and they show full games of the games back then. Okay, I've seen Reggie Miller play against the Knicks thanks to NBA TV. I've seen Michael Jordan destroy the Knicks. I've seen everyone destroy the Knicks. Okay, I've also seen them beat other teams too. But you know what? This generation of athletes way more athletic than the generation before them, and you don't have to accept it, but it's true. And let's see, do we have any upsets? We did have our first upset. Creighton, they beat number 20 Northwestern 92-88. Let's see, we got any other upsets? Any other ones? No, that was the only upset. St. Mary's, they're ranked 21. They beat Cal State Fullerton 76-57. Minnesota, who's ranked number 14, beat Niagara 107-81. North Carolina, number 9 ranked team, they barely beat Bucknell by 12 points. I might be nitpicking right there, but you know what? You're the 9th ranked team. You're North Carolina. You need to be beaten by Bucknell by at least 20. West Virginia beat American University 98-64, and Seton Hall, number 22 team in the nation, beat Indiana 84-68. Of course, it's too early to probably be talking about rankings, but one team I'm really excited to see is Arizona. They usually put out a lot of athletic players out there, so they're going to be a fun team to watch. And I got a soft spot for the University of Miami, so I hope they do well this season too. But let's talk some football. Soccer here in America, but everywhere else they call it football. All right, so let's talk some Premier League. What do we got going on? We got Arsenal. They're going to be playing Tottenham, North London Derby. Pretty much the biggest game by far the biggest game of the weekend. Okay, these teams, for those that aren't familiar with the English Premier League, or how fans deal with each other, okay, the way soccer fans are in Europe are completely different than how our NFL fans are in America, or NBA fans. Like, we're fans of our teams, okay, but you know what? We all know that we're all we treat each other for the most part like we're all humans, so we all have a decent amount of respect for each other. Not these fans in Europe, okay? Arsenal fans and Tottenham fans, when I say this, I'm not even over-exaggerating, okay? They hate each other. They cannot stand each other, okay? Have nothing but bad things to say about each other, and literally, you will not, it's just, I don't know, Europe is just a whole different type of place, obviously, than America, but these fans, they take their team seriously, okay? And, it's just going to be a big game. It's going to be played, obviously, in London. That's why it's the North London Derby. But Arsenal's going to be the home team. They're going to be playing at the Emirates. And I think I'm going to pick Tottenham for this game. Arsenal's been playing well so far this season. They got Lacazette. Sanchez has been playing well. Mesut Ozil has been okay so far this season. You pretty much have your own opinion about him. And the back line with Kolasinac, Koscielny, Bellerin's been playing well. Let's see, who else am I forgetting? I know I'm forgetting someone else, and they got Petr Cech in goal. But yeah, that Arsenal's been playing well. Right now, they're 6th in the table with 19 points, only 3 back at Chelsea, who are 4th with 22, and Tottenham are currently in 3rd place with 23 points, and they're actually level on points with Manchester United. So you can see that change maybe, but I'm going to pick Tottenham in this one. I think Harry Kane, he's been lights out so far this season. I just realized, once you listen to yourself in these podcasts, you realize you say a couple of words often, and I say lights out a lot when describing players. But either way, Harry Kane's been playing really well, probably one of the best forwards this season. And you got Christian Eriksen, who just scored a hat-trick against Denmark, which led them into the World Cup qualification. So, yeah, I'm going to go Tottenham in this one. They're going to win. at Arsenal, and Arsenal fans are not going to be too happy, but it's just the way it goes. So, yeah, let's see. I got them. Let's see. Let me just go through the games. I'll just do picks like I do with the NFL. Then you got Liverpool versus Southampton. Liverpool is known for having a terrible defense. They, for some reason, every transfer window do not buy defenders. They always buy strikers and midfielders. And they score a lot of goals, but they also give up a lot of goals. Southampton's a team who they bring up talent from the youth academies. But I think I'm going to go Liverpool in this one. Then Chelsea's going to be playing West Bromwich Albion. I'm going to pick Chelsea in this one just mainly because they're the better team. Then you got Crystal Palace versus Everton. Everton was supposed to be a really good team this season. They bought a lot of players, but you know what? They forgot to buy was a striker. They sold Romelu Lukaku, left to Manchester United, and they brought in old man Wayne Rooney to fill up that gap, and it hasn't worked so far this season. Right now, actually, I didn't realize how far down the table Crystal Palace was. Crystal Palace might get relegated to the second division. Right now, actually, they probably are, just with how they've been playing right now. They're in last place. They got 4 points, so you know what? Everton hasn't been playing well either, so I'm going to go for a draw in this game. Remember, a bad team plus another bad team equals a bad game. Then you got Bournemouth going up against Huddersfield Town. Right now, Bournemouth is 17th in the table, and Huddersfield Town is number 10. Huddersfield Town was recently promoted to the Premier League, so it's pretty fun to see how they've been playing really well so far this season. Usually when you see a newly promoted team, you're going to see them pretty much struggle throughout the season and try to stay out of relegation, but not Huddersfield Town. I think they beat Manchester United early on in the season too, so I'm going to pick Huddersfield Town in this one. Then you got Manchester City versus Leicester City. There's literally no reason to ever pick against Manchester City. They're the best team by far in the Premier League. They're number 1. They got 31 points. They have played 11 games so far, won 10 and drew 1. So yeah, I got Manchester City. They're probably going to win like 4-0 or something like that. Then Burnley versus Swansea City. I'm picking Burnley mainly because they play extremely well at home. Right now, Swansea's 19th in the table and Burnley is 7th. So yeah, Burnley at home, never pick against them. Then you got Manchester United up against Newcastle United. I'm going to go with Manchester United. Almost made a bad pick there. But yeah, I got Manchester United in that one. They've really been playing pretty boring so far. I know that they haven't had Pogba out there, but they're going to be getting him back soon, hopefully, once the winter break comes. And they're going to be getting Zlatan Ibrahimovic too, so that's going to be fun to see. But yeah, I got Manchester United against Newcastle, and then Watford versus West Ham. West Ham has been terrible so far this season, and I'm going to pick Watford because of it. Watford's currently 9th, and West Ham are 18th, and they might be relegated, so... I know it's still early. We still got 27 more games to go, but you pretty much, after about maybe 11 or so games, 12 games around there, you pretty much have an idea who's going to be competing for the title, who's going to be a mid-table team, and who's going to be competing for relegation. So we're going to see how it all plays out. Let's see. We got a game on Monday, do we? We do have a game on Monday. We got Brighton and Hove Albion versus Stoke City. Let's see. Stoke City is 14th right now, and Brighton is currently in 8th. Another newly promoted side that have been playing well so far this season. I'm going to go draw in this one. Let's see. Are they playing in Stoke? No, they're not. I'm going to go with Brighton actually in this game. If they were playing at Stoke, then I'd call it a draw. But yeah, I'm going to go with Brighton in this game. I think that they're going to be able to pull it out. Stoke City is really a team at home. They're one of the best. They play really well at home. They're not one of the best. They play really well at home. Away from home, they do not play well. So I got Brighton in that one. And let's finish off the show by talking about some NBA. I think we only got 2 games tonight. Yeah, we got the Warriors at Celtics at 5 o'clock Pacific time. And then after that, you got the Rockets at Phoenix at 7:30. Sorry, I got these allergies and might be getting a little bit sick. Starting to rain a little bit more. Winter's coming. But I'm good to go. So the Warriors are going up against Boston, okay? Right now, Boston started off the season 0-2. Then they just went on a monster 13-game winning streak, currently on that streak. Warriors were 4-3. Now they're 11-3, currently on a 7-game streak. So obviously something's got to give. The Warriors are currently favored to win in this game, rightfully so. You really can't ever... They should... I don't know how... I got to double check. I'm not even sure if the Warriors have ever not been favored in a game these last 2 years. I'm not talking about finals. I'm talking about regular season games, but I got to pick with my head in this one. Actually, do I? What is my head telling me? You know, I'm going to go with the Celtics in this one, okay? They're at home. They got Kyrie. They got Horford, okay? Everyone's healthy right now, of course, besides Gordon Hayward, but I'm not even going to be bringing him up. He got injured in the first game of the season, so it's pretty much Celtics got to make do with what they got. This is their team, okay? Picking the Celtics mainly because they're playing at home, and I know the Garden, Boston Garden, TD Bank North Garden, not sure what they call it now. I got to be careful calling it the Garden, too, because I know New York Knicks fans are going to get their feelings hurt. But, Yeah, I got the Celtics in this one, okay? I think Al Horford's going to have a big game. Kyrie's going to show up, play well. And it's going to be interesting to see how Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown play against these guys. Jason Tatum, as we know, is a rookie. He's averaging 14 points, 18 rebounds a game. But I think he's going to be able to step up. The kid has confidence, okay? I can call him kid, too. I'm 20 years old. He's 19, so therefore I'm older than him. Funny how math works, so I can call him kid. But yeah, the Warriors, of course, they got Steph. He should play in this game. Hopefully he plays in this game. I want him to play in this game. I want these teams to be at full strength when they're playing each other. This could be an early finals matchup right here. I know the Cavs are still trying to figure out their thing. They're starting to come back a little bit, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun game to watch, okay? Right now, the Warriors should be favored, and it's looking like that. There's no reason to pick against the Warriors, but for some reason I think that just the Celtics playing at home is what's going to get them over, because I think it's going to be a close game. Brad Stevens always game plans well for the Warriors. If you look back the last couple of seasons in the regular season, the team that gives the Warriors the most trouble is the Celtics. So if you don't believe me, just go check last 4 games. But yeah, I got the Celtics in that one, and then I'm going to pick the Rockets against the Suns. There's literally no reason to pick the Suns in this game. Every time I do that, I say literally no reason to pick the opposing team. The opposing team wins. So Houston, don't let me down. I'm going to go James Harden. He's going to have a 30-point, at least 30-point, at least 11 assists, and 10 rebound stat line. If I get that right, I will pick your lotto numbers. But other than that, that's all we got for today's show. It was a fun one throughout, and thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Tapia, and we'll talk to you next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.